What's good YouTube, it's Adam from I'm Music Mobile. Welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to remake a classic, No Church in the Wild by Jay-Z and Kanye West, featuring Frank Ocean and The Dream. The tempo for this one is 93 beats per minute, and the track is produced by Kanye West, 88 keys, and Mike Dean. For this one, we're going to start off with that main sample that we hear throughout the entire track. Now, before we get to it, I'm going to go over to my project settings and make sure my smart tempo is set to flex on, smart tempo on. This way, when we bring in the multiple samples that are in this track, it's going to automatically detect the tempo and make it really easy for us to chop it up. So the main sample that we hear throughout the entire track is K-Scope by Manzanera. So I'm going to drag that in, Logic will do its thing, and it'll automatically detect the tempo because we set that smart tempo on in our settings. So this is what the sample sounds like here. I'm just going to raise the volume here, just because it's a little quiet. It's part of the intro here that we need to take. So the sample that we need to take starts right over here, and it's going to go for a bar. So we're going to go drag that into, we see a length of a bar, and we get this. Except we've got to pitch that sample down 6 semitones. So we'll hold down the Option key and arrow down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I'm going to do here is just chop it up right there. Chop it up right there. And then what we'll do is just duplicate this track, and we'll copy down our sample so that we have it right there. All right, next let's go ahead and sample the drums that are in this track. So it's not the only drums, but it's in the background. So we're gonna bring in that track. The track is by Spooky Tooth, and the track is called Sunshine Help Me. We'll get the drums, it's right at the top of the sample. And we're not gonna do anything else to that, so we're just gonna go ahead and just chop that up. And like I said earlier, everything is in time because we set that smart tempo thing earlier. It automatically takes the tempo and stretches it to the sessions tempo. So that's why we don't have to stretch anything here. So the other thing I'm gonna do is just take out this little blip that happens at the end there. And for that, because I did that, I'm gonna go ahead and just bring in a little bit of a fade. All right, so there's our sample right there. Now what we got to do is duplicate this track. I like to keep my samples, the original sample, on a separate track. So I'm just going to go ahead and mute that and just push it out of the way. We can go ahead and just take it out of our session for now. Just hide those tracks. Hit H on your keyboard will hide that up. And what I'm going to do here is just take these 2 samples and duplicate it for a total of an 8-bar length. We'll just apply a little EQ just to take out some of the top end. So for that, let's go ahead and bring in the EQ. That's right over here. And then layered with those drums is some more drums. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring in the drum kit I put together for this remake. We'll go over to that preset I created, the No Church in the Wild drum kit. And we'll start off with the kick pattern. It's basically going to follow this kick pattern over here, so it's going to go like this. Just thickens up that kick. And then for the open hat, it's a fairly simple pattern as well. It's just going to hit on the 3s. The last sample I'm going to bring in is the tom. So once again, we'll create a new pattern region, and it just happens right here. Except I just want to add some pitch to that tom. So what I'm going to do is select the region. I'm going to go control click and go convert to MIDI region. And for this second node right over here, I'm going to go and just pitch it down 1 semitone. And then from there, we're going to get to the bass. So create a new software instrument track. And what we're going to do here is bring in Logic's Retro Synth. So Control Command P. We'll bring in Logic's Retro Synth. We'll bring in a bass preset here. We'll go to the synth bass category and go to the PWM bass. The preset is going off my screen here. We'll step in that pattern and then we'll get to the sound design. This pretty much just repeats itself over and over. All right, we'll just duplicate this over the entire 8-bar pattern. Except we've got to make that bass a little brighter. So let's get to the sound design. So first things first, like I said, I want to make this brighter. So I'm going to open up the cutoff here. And with that cutoff opening, we're going to go ahead to our filter envelope as well and just lift the decay up. So it gets a little brighter. All right, and then for the amp envelope, we want it to be very quick and a quick release. Except I'm going to pull back the envelope here. I want it to be a little bit of a darker sound and then kind of open up a little bit when it hits. Now all together, it sounds like this. All right, so that's pretty much the main pattern. Now let's build it out. So what I'm going to do here is copy all of this over, and we're going to bring in some of the strings that we need. So we're going to create a new software instrument track. I'm going to go Control-Command-P, bring in Logic's Alchemy. And for that, we'll use a preset. So for that, I'm going to go over to my browse button here, and I'm going to go type in Mega Strings. This one right over here. Before we get to the pattern, I'm just going to go ahead and just bring down the delay and reverb as we don't need it on the sound here. Now let's get to the chord progression. All right, so there is the chord progression right there. Next, what we're going to do is layer up the sound just to make it a little bit fuller as heard in the original track. For that, we'll create a new software instrument track. We'll open up our library browser. We're going to go over to Studio Strings. We'll go over to Section Instruments, and we'll go over to the King's Cross. We'll get more of like an authentic string sound here. So we're going to go ahead and just duplicate that pattern, the exact same thing here. Same chords. Stabby strings. So for that, we're going to go ahead and duplicate the mega strings right over here, and we'll draw in a new chord progression. It's the same chord progression, there's just not as many notes. It doesn't need to be as full as the previous chords that we put together. Now I don't want the sound to ring out as long. I don't want it to sound like a sustained chord. I want it to be stabby and choppy. So for that, what I'm going to do is open up Logic's Alchemy, and I'm going to bring down our release time to pretty much nothing here. All right, so I'm going to duplicate that over the 8 bars, and together with our strings, sounds like this. Together with our drums. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to get to that new bass pattern. Section that has a James Brown sample as well, and some like Hollywood Chimpanzee samples. We'll get to that now. So what we're going to do is just copy all of this over, and what we're going to take out is let's take out the open hat, we'll take out the tom, we'll leave the bass for now, we'll take out the strings, but we'll leave the choppy strings in there, so we get this. I'm going to go back to the old bass. Not sure if that's the right arrangement, but we'll just move along. And what we're going to do here is right at the end of this 2-bar pattern is going going to be all that sample stuff that we're going to do right now. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in that James Brown sample. The song is Don't Tell a Lie About Me and I Won't Tell the Truth on You. So I'm going to drag that in right here, and we got to get 2 vocal phrases from this song. If we fast forward to bar 32 here. All right, so there's our first sample right there. It's in here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and chop this up here. Oh, let me just make sure that my right click is on my scissor tool. All right, so I'm just gonna chop it up right there. And then our second sample can be found in bar 34. So it's that vocal shout right there. What we're going to do on both of these chops is extract the vocals. Now we can't do multiple stem splits at once, so I'm just going to create one region here. I'm going to go control click and I'm going to go stem splitter, and we're just going to use the vocals here. And we get this. All right, so we're going to go ahead and chop up those vocal phrases, and then we're going to go ahead and cut up this one right here. And we're left with this. So I'm going to take out that top bit. We don't need it. All right, good. And then the only thing we got to do now is pitch these samples down 3 semitones. So we'll select both of our regions here, and we'll go option arrow down, 1, 2, 3. You can't see it here, but there it is right there, 3 semitones down. And it sounds like this. And then we got to go and arrange those samples. So what I'm going to do is just take our first sample here, and we'll just copy it over. We can take out all this extra stuff that we don't need. Let's make that a little louder. Let's go to gain, maybe 10 dBs. Let's bring that down a bit. All right, let's copy that over. Get another one right here. Another one right over here. Now we'll get to some of the reverb and the delay after, just to kind of fill that out a bit. But now let's get to that second sample. So what I'm going to do here is just duplicate this track, and I'm going to take this right over here, and it's going to happen right after this one here. So it's going to go right about here, I believe. But what I got to do now is just pull up the gain on this as well. I think we did 5 dBs here. And what we're going to do now is just go ahead and select both of these tracks. We'll group it together and just bring in that reverb and delay that I was talking about. So I'm going to go Control Command P and first bring in Logic's Echo for that delay. Just going to bring back the feedback a bit. All right, just fills it out. Now let's go ahead and add in the reverb. So we'll go Control Command P, bring in Logic's Chroma Verb. And for that, we'll bring in a preset here. We'll bring in Effects Cave. And all I'm going to do now is just bring up the dry and make it not as big. So now we get this with everything. Alright, then we got to get to those chimpanzee screams. So for that, I'm going to go and bring in this sample right here. It's the Hollywood Edge Sound Effects Library, Chimpanzee, Screeches, and Vocalizes. So we're going to go ahead and get the screeches that we need here. So it's these 2 wild ones right over here. All right, so it's going to go take that out. We just need those 2. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and place them where we need. I think they go right before this sample here. So let's bring that back, and we're going to just repeat it twice. All right, and we'll just bring it into this effect group. And our samples are going to sound like this. And then we got to bring in that police siren. Now I didn't find the exact one that was used in the original track, but I found one on Splice that sounds close enough. So we'll bring it into Logic's quick sampler. The sample is mtw_effects_siren_1. So the siren happens at the end of the pattern, and it's gonna go something like this here. Let me hear how it sounds with everything else. All right, so there's the siren right there. Let's take a listen to how everything sounds together now. Then there's one more effect I want to show you that happened in this track, and it's a tape stop effect. So what we're gonna do is just copy over this section over here, copy over everything. And what we're gonna do here is copy down, or sorry, we'll just bounce down all of these tracks right over here. What I am going to do actually is just take out the open hat. I'm going to take out the tom. We'll leave the bass. I'm going to take out these two strings. We're just going to take this right here. We'll control B to bounce that in place. All right, and then we're going to create that tape stop effect. So this is what it sounds like right now. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my fade tool. Let's draw in a fade, as you can see right there. And then we're going to change it over from a fade over to a slowdown. So it's like that tape stop effect. Except you don't need it that long. So I'm going to bring this probably back to a bar here. And we don't need it in that effect group. All right, so it sounds like this. So that's pretty much all there is to No Church in the Wild. Now what I'm going to do is go and mix it, arrange it, and when we come back, we'll take a listen to how everything sounds together. Since that right there is No Church in the Wild by Jay-Z and Kanye West featuring Frank Ocean and The Dream, remade in Logic Pro. If you're Logic Pro users out there, I'm going to go ahead and save this entire session for you. Place it as a download link below this video. If you don't use Logic, I got your back as well. Next, for audio stems, of course, include the drum kit that you heard in this remake. You can find that entire playback down below the like button as well. If you have any questions on this or just want to chat, remember suggestions for future videos, let's chat down below. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Later. Peace.